Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to RVDaydream. We're going to do another review on an electric bike, this time by Vanpowers. We had good luck with Vanpowers. Let's talk about what we saw the last time we unboxed something like this.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
Please, if you have a chance, go back and look at our previous video where we covered the Vanpowers Thru bike. It was very unique. It was probably one of the most unique bikes we had tested up to that date, other than some novelty type folding bikes, which turned out to be not so novel. They were actually very practical. This company, Vanpowers, provided us with a really nice, sleek looking, chrome looking bike, and still one that gets talked about quite a bit. This one here is actually being billed as the future of e-bikes, and I can see where they're going with this. We'll talk about the design, but first let's get this thing unboxed. I'm going to show you the packaging, and then we'll go over some of the details on this. Pretty standard packaging, but I'll be honest with you, we've had a company that neglected to package their bike well enough, and I actually have a damaged bike that I have still yet to been able to do a review on, and it's been well over 2 months, and it's all because of packaging. So whenever we show these things, whenever we open up these boxes and we show you what it looks like whenever it's all packaged up, take note of it, because some of the companies don't do quite as well as something like this, which this is a pretty dense foam, and it is formed for the bike. Looks like it's a lighter color it's in here. I'm colorblind, so I just don't know, but let's get this thing out. Okay, here it is lifted out of the box. Talking about lifting out of the box, we're going to talk about the weight. You're looking at about 68 pounds, so they say, a little over 68 pounds. You got to be able to lift. I mean, it's something that a lot of people don't realize, that these electric bikes, they are a little heavy, and of course those big super cruisers or beach cruisers or whatever you want to call them, a lot of people go for those. They like them, but they're also very heavy and hard to manipulate, even onto a bike rack, believe it or not. This is kind of one of those middle of the road bikes. It actually is an urban bike, and the way they get away with being able to go city and fun, I'll talk off trail, this tire, it's kind of an in-between. This is a little bit thicker than what we're used to. We usually see either a really skinny tire, like a bicycle tire, or we see something that's monstrous. So this is the Urban Glide. That's what they call this. And boy, is it a beautiful color. I know this isn't coming out on camera, and being colorblind, I have no idea what color it is. I'm just telling you the finish on it's like automotive grade paint. But out of the box, talking about a box, let's see what comes in the accessory box. Oh wow, look at this. This should tell you right here what kind of company you're dealing with. I remember the Thru was kind of the same way. So you got a user manual. Wow, this is the biggest user manual I've ever seen. I'm sure it's because of multiple languages, but wow. Yeah, Urban Glide. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of these. Standard pedals there. You got a bell. Oh, you got a set of keys in here. There is an app for this bike that'll allow you to do some stuff with it. Your headlight. Oh, and then the display. Usually the displays are already mounted on the bikes, but looks like I'm going to have to do that. And then your charger. Let's see what this charger is. If I'm not mistaken, this is just a standard 2-amp charger, and that has a lot to do with the type of bike that it is. The fact that this is a standard version. Actually, this is a 3-amp charger. Batteries make these electric bikes go. Batteries make all the difference. Most of the bikes come with about a 12 to 20 amp hour battery. This one comes with a 14 amp hour battery, just over 14.4 I believe. But it's LG cells, and it makes a difference on the quality of the battery. Again, the battery makes these bikes work. They're electric bikes for a reason. The thing is most of these bikes that come with a 12 to 20 amp hour battery have a charger that comes with it that is only 2 amp. It's a 2 amp charger. Now for you guys, old guys like me, that worked on cars back in the day, remember when you had a dead battery and you put your battery charger that you bought from Sears on the thing to charge overnight? You know, you had a 2 amp, what they called a trickle charge, and then you had a 10 amp, which was like a fast charge. In this case, this is a 3 amp charger, and that would be considered not quite a fast charge, but it's definitely better than a 2 amp charger. And just as this bike has the 3 amp charger, if you get into something above and beyond this one, and that's kind of a nice marketing thing that they've done, this is just the standard version. They have one that's a pro version and an ultra version. We're not going to talk about those too much. If Vanpowers decides they want to explore those other versions a little bit more, we'll get one of those bikes in here and we'll take a look at it. But this one here is like the entry level, and what that does is allow the price point on this to be pretty low to start with. Talking about the price point, in the links in the description of this video, so if you go down below there, you'll see a description in the video, you know, of what this video is about. You're going to see the sale prices, the early bird prices on this bike in addition to the other two. If you want to get that early bird pricing, click the link that's in the description and go in there, and it'll take you right to these units so you can make your purchase. But getting back to that 3 amp charger, that is above and beyond what almost all the manufacturers do. Very rarely do I see anything but a 2 amp charger. Talking about the battery, all this is going through my head before we even got it taken apart. The rear hub motor on this is 500 watt. I've had a lot of people that's asked me about that in the past, and trust me, I'm with you guys. When I first got my first 500 watt motor, I had already had 2 or 3 750 watt motor bikes. So I was very concerned that I was going to be down on power. Well, here's the thing. Those 750 watt motors, other than torque, you can't really notice too much difference. And the nice thing is, this is like running around with a 6-cylinder instead of a V8. So you're going to get better mileage out of it for the fact that you only have 500 watts drawing from your battery. Like I said, we've had bikes in the past that have had 750 watt hub motors and they've only had 12 amp hour batteries. Well, you can imagine running a V8 with a small gas tank. That's what happens when you run a big 750 watt hub motor with a battery that's, like I say, maybe only 12 amp hours. So it's nice that they have 500 amp hours with this battery matched up. Not only that, but again, I just talked about those big beach cruisers. Those big beach cruisers have bigger tires that have more weight and more rolling resistance going down the road. So not only do you have a bigger V8 hub, you know, with a 750 watt, but you also have bigger tires drawing down on the demand that the battery is seeing. And not only that, but the bike overall weighs more. So this is a very nice middle of the road. I can't wait to get this together, so let's do exactly that. Normally I wouldn't break away from this build unless I find something that's a little bit different and interesting compared to the other ones that I've done. And this fender, out of all things, and the rear fender too, it's kind of like a double-walled fender. I don't know how else to describe it. It's kind of thick, and it's like it's metal, but it is a very thick stamped metal. It has these little extensions, these plastic extensions on the back here, and then of course it's glued in place. But even it's got a protective piece here. I've never seen this on fenders before, but this is sturdy. I can't squeeze this. I mean, I can't compress this at all. And I mean, as far as bending it, let me put it on my leg here, on my thigh, and get this balance, see what happens here. Yeah, see, I can't, on metal ones I've had in the past, that's pretty amazing. Metal ones I had in the past have just been a real thin stamped metal, but these are thick. These are, I don't know if they're cast. No, they're not cast, but they're machined from something much. I can't believe they're extruded. I guess they could be. That's probably why they couldn't make the ends different. You know what I'm saying? Usually the metal ones that we get, the stamped ones, have a finished end already on them. But if they're making these out of some sort of a track, you know, of a flat piece of metal, and as it comes out of the tooling, it bends it, I guess that could be. So anyways, something as simple as a fender. You know, this makes a difference whenever you get rattling going down trails and stuff. Those metal ones, which I prefer metal over plastic, all except for the noise they generate. These aren't going to generate any noise. I hate that I keep on stopping on you guys, but as, again, I take this apart, things that really stand out I want to talk about, and man, is the finish on this just incredible. This one is a zircon gray. Apparently they have two other colors. They have a lava red and they have a Remy green. And I'm assuming, you know, that it's this pastel thing. I remember back in the late 80s, I had a 5-liter Mustang, a sedan that was a dove gray, and I remember it was pretty close to this color. It was a little lighter, I believe, but anyways, that pastel thing started coming around on cars again. You see a lot of cars that have had it in the last 3 years, and yeah, very, very nice. Now, these colors are only available on the standard and the Pro. So if you want the Ultra, you're going to get different colors. The other thing about this, you can see here it's indicated with a little S down there. That S means this is small. So this is for riders that are 5'1" to 5'9". If you're a taller rider, you may want to get into something bigger. Now, the way I like to ride the bikes, I'm a throttle guy. I don't like the pedal so much. So even though I'm 6 foot, I'll ride this one and I'll be just fine on it. The smaller the better for me. If you need bigger, you'll have to get into the Pro or the Ultra, and that one is going to be indicated with an L down here, and it'll be for a rider that's 5'7" to 6'3". Okay, I want to show you the battery real quick. It says that it's 15 amp hour, not 14.4, and it says 720 watt hour. Again, these are LG cells, but let me show you up inside here. Usually what happens with the keys on these things, they will allow you to take the battery out, but you don't need keys to put it in. However, in this case, you do need keys to put the battery in here. That is a positive extruded aluminum, as are these down here, locks. So that has to be up for the battery to go in. Bottom goes in first and just pivots in place. You can see it kind of clicks in place, and then that locks it. We got some nice dust cover plugs here. Still can tear them off. You got to be careful. This one down here is for the recharging port, so you don't have to take the battery out if you don't want to. So here it is, all assembled out in the light, and Heidi immediately, as soon as she saw this, she said, man, that is a nice color. So what does this remind me of? Listen, I don't like bringing up other manufacturers when I'm doing reviews, but I did a review in the past of a bike that looked very similar to this, and we thought it to be the best looking bike that we've ever done a review on. This one is equal to, if not greater than. The looks of the bike are just incredible. The handle grips feel very nice with this extra added on here. Just make sure you adjust the handlebars the way that you want them to be. I will have to say that there are quite a few adjustments. I can make these handlebars much higher and much more upright. The display is rather large. We'll take a look at that here in a second, but it does have a USB port, so you can put on a phone mount. Obviously, a lot of people like to do that. This does have mechanical brakes. They do not have hydraulic. If hydraulic brakes is something that you definitely have to go with, then you need to step up to the next model. Again, early bird pricing in the links down below. Make sure you check that out. It does have a little headlight on here and a tail light, so we'll take a look to see if those are legitimate. Let's go ahead and power this thing on. Digitech, riding involved, mile per hour, it's already set. Okay, so it just says neutral. That's kind of funny. And we have up to 5 pedal assist. The battery's down to 17%. I'm going to have to put the charger on that, which, again, we have a really decent charger. And the display is relatively easy to read, even in this bright light. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but there's some reflection going on, but I can read it. Has a lever throttle. I'm not a big fan of those. I like a twist, and I like it on the right-hand side. However, they work. And let's go ahead and turn on the headlight, which is usually a hard or a long push. Yeah, it's a long push on the plus button. The display goes a little bit more dim. And then we've got our little... That is much brighter than I thought it was going to be. This one little bulb is very bright. I mean, you can see we're in the sunlight here. And that thing, I'm surprised. I didn't think it was going to be that bright. Let's see what the taillight looks like. Good. I can see it in the daylight. I don't know how that's coming across on camera for you guys. Let's see if the brake light works. That's good. That's really, really good. So again, entry level, you only have a 7-speed. It's a Shimano. This is a Tourney. That's the entry level 7-speed shifter. You know, it's a push button. This is to go up in gears. This is to go down in gears. So not a big deal. We leave it in 7 all the time. We very rarely take it out of that. This is a beautiful bike. This really is a beautiful bike. Again, we did a review in the past, and I'll have to say that I kind of like this one a little better, and I'll tell you why. The only thing that I like about this one much better is the front light is very bright. The display is a little bit better. The fenders, by far the fenders. These fenders are the strongest that I've seen. I mean, they are right there, perfect. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the design? I'll tell you what everybody seems to be going for is this like French countryside or Dutch style bike. That's not the way they were initially when they came out. They were all funky looking. There wasn't much for design to them, and yet here we are with something that's very sleek. I don't know about this head. This head on here is huge. I mean, my hand. This is way bigger than a beer can. Just to let you know. This is like a 1-liter bottle. Alright, so here she comes back. Looks like she can pedal out of the speed, which a lot of the bikes do, but the headlight is very bright. And the bike is really quiet. Pretty powerful. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I like the way that thing sounds. Okay, so comfort-wise as far as the height?
Perfect.
And you're how tall?
5'4".
Okay, now they say 5'1" for this. Maybe?
Yeah, well, I'm flat-footed, so...
Yeah, a lot of people ride it differently than that. So as far as the acceleration and stuff?
Pretty good.
You pedaled out of the assist, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that you might.
Yeah.
A lot of bikes do that. There's very few that don't do that.
But it only goes 20, so, I mean, if you're looking for a bike that's not too fast...
Well, it's class 2, so that's all it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, also, since I'm colorblind, what about the color?
I love the color, of course. I'm on the gray and blue kick, so this is gray. And it's a very nice color.
Alright, so I'm going to get on it. I'm probably overweight for it. I'm going to go down the street real quick. Heidi will just get a little bit of footage, and then I'll come back and tell you what I think. Yep. So there's the other choice, a scooter. It's firm for me. It rides pretty good. I don't have any problems with it. I think that the power is pretty good on this, considering it's 500 watt. This is better than your Rat City was. It rides more comfortable than the Rat City, and it's stretched out more. Even though this is the small frame, I like this one. This is a good combination of both. It's well put together. I think it's pretty decent. If you want something that's good looking, and a lot of people's going to comment on it, and you want something that's not overkill, and you don't plan on riding the beach a lot, even though this could handle a little bit of the sand, I think something about these big tires has something to do with it too. These tires are tall. The links are in the description. Go for it.
As always, we hope to see you out there. Bye.